Welcome to Bras, Panties, and Sports, episode 309, Elite. And we got the music from Solex. Now, you are listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. That you really are. If you tuned in right now and you're hearing my voice, that means you're listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. Now, and how you can tell you listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports when you're hearing my voice is we have Goddess Kelli, the Diva Sports Debate, and CJ out of Chicago. Ordinarily, we had a voice lady, Cheryl Smith. She's a little bit under the weather. Was hanging out with Anita Baker, partying. We done told her about that champagne stuff. He will get to you at 3 in the morning. Now, check out the music this week on Shout Out. We are featuring performances from Solex. Will he find his shining star or get the cold feel of the mute button? Now, ordinarily, it's time for our funny ladies to get our gig on, but today we're actually going to have a funny guy. That's right. We're going to have the ladies that said we're going to step aside and let a funny guy. We're going to go old school with a funny guy. Check him out.
I'm traveling. Lots of unusual things happen in traveling. A few weeks ago, I'm riding a train between New York and Washington. When I boarded the train, the first thoughts, front of my seat, get settled and relaxed. Once I got settled, I glanced across the aisle and I noticed the woman occupying the seat there had a baby with her. Ugly baby. Bad-looking baby. I want to make it clear that generally I'd be reluctant to express an opinion of someone's kid. But I know an ugly baby when I see it. And I had only glimpsed it. Quick look. And this fella enters the coach. His hair smashed. When he gets to the section where the woman is with the baby, he stops and he's staring. And the lady's watching. She heard him when he said to himself, "Damn." And the lady said, "What are you looking at?" The guy said, "I'm looking at that ugly baby." "That's a bad-looking baby, lady. That's a hell of a kid you got here. I bet you save a lot of money with that baby. You don't have to hire a babysitter. No one's going to bother that kid." The woman took this as an offense. She pulls the emergency cord, the train stops, there's a big scene, the conductor comes running in. "What's going on here? What's going on here?" And the lady says, "This fellow just insulted me. I don't have to spend my money to ride this railroad and be insulted." The conductor says, "Now calm down, lady." He said, "Madam," he said, "the railroad will go to any extent to avoid having differences between the passengers. He said, perhaps it would be more to your convenience if we were to rearrange your seating. And as a small compensation from the railroad, if you'll accompany me to the dining car, we'll give you a free meal. And maybe we'll find a banana for your monkey."
All right, y'all, an original funny guy from, I hope you got your giggle on. And, but, again, this is Bras, Panties, and Sports. CJ, we're ready for what you saying.
Each week, we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. And they're trying to tell us something, so we ask you, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle. Let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdie known as Kawhi Leonard is flapping his wings on chirping he may fly away from San Antonio Spurs. Is it time for San Antonio to hit the panic button? Is it being so-called small market hurting their chances of bringing championship talent to the team? Does it really matter where Kawhi lands if he doesn't land on a team with a real shot of beating the Warriors in the next 3 years? Should Kawhi stay and roll the dice? Pop will figure it out. Kathy Lanier, Jane Castor, Jerry Williams, and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Well, I think he needs to try and just rest up, get better, and maybe he'll luck up and be on a better team next time. But he should try and stay where he is, as far as I'm concerned. Poor little guy. Nobody seems to have any hope for the San Antonio Spurs, and I wonder why. They have just as good a chance as any other team, so they're hurt a little bit right now. They can always do a little better in the future. I say, hope springs eternal, and so should he. What do you think, Goddess?
Well, when it comes to the Western Conference, we all know that the Golden State Warriors are going to be the team to go to the championship. So if Kawhi Leonard is looking to go to a team that's going to better his chances of making it to a championship, then he needs to come to the Eastern Conference Finals, or the Eastern Conference, so he has a better chance of making it to the finals. If you look at the East, Cleveland's been falling apart. We've got, Philadelphia's on the rise. The Celtics are balling out. You've got some talent down with the Washington Wizards. You've got a lot of teams in the East that have a good shot of making it. So if he wants a chance to be a championship contender, then Kawhi, come on over to the East Coast. We're the Beast Coast, the best coast. Come over. Get away from the West. Because we all know until the super team in the Golden State is disbanded, nobody else is really going to have a chance. That being said, though, I do have a lot of respect for Greg Popovich as a coach. I think he's one of the best coaches in the NBA. But when it comes down to it, when Kawhi Leonard is your only superstar, that's not enough to compete with what else is going on. You've also got Houston to contend with. You've got James Harden, who is my choice for MVP candidate. So Kawhi, although he is an excellent player and he's always cropped up in MVP talks, he doesn't have that same kind of charisma as a James Harden or a Russell Westbrook or, a Kevin Durant, any of those guys. He doesn't have that, we call it the Mamba mentality because of Kobe Bryant. And Kawhi Leonard just doesn't have that. He is an extremely talented player who can play both sides of the ball. When it comes to MVP candidates, and there's no doubt that defensively he is one of the best. But that's not enough. One player does not get you a championship. And don't give me any of this small market BS. They said the same thing about Oklahoma City. I mean, granted, OKC hasn't had a chance at a championship, but I mean, look at what Russell Westbrook did last year, bringing home the MVP, averaging a triple-double. What? That's not done. Kawhi can't do that. Nobody else but Russell Westbrook could do that. LeBron could if he wanted to, but LeBron is a better teammate than Russell Wilson, so, that's a whole nother story. So I say, Kawhi, either stay in San Antonio, stay with the coach amazing that is Greg Popovich, or come on over to the East. We got cookies. We'll take you in. That's what I'm saying.
I hear you. Fit face.
All I want to know is what is in them cookies. I'm looking at the situation, and Kawhi, unfortunately, if this was all about Kawhi's talent, and I'm sure that Kawhi is saying, look, I got all this talent. I should, be jumping over sports cars and making commercials and doing all of that, but here I am in San Antonio, and I'm not getting the, the glam that I want to get. My shine is dull because I'm here. Now, the only problem with that is that Kawhi, I got some bad news for you. And that bad news is called LeBron James in the East. And it's called the Golden State Warriors in the West. And unless you plan on doing a Kevin Durant and trying to finagle some kind of deal where you could get on the Golden State Warriors or play with LeBron James, you need to sit your butt right where you at. And before you discover that, yes, you all of that and a bag of chips, and it can mean nothing. It can mean absolutely nothing. You can end up, because you got a team that's right now that's designing everything for you. Everything for you. Wherever you go, they ain't going to design everything for you. Because you're going to go there and you're going to have to share more than you've been sharing. And you might find out, man, you know what? This starting to look like what I was doing in San Antonio. I could have stayed there and just been the man. And, you know, having team meetings where they beg and you come back. I'm going to cut this nonsense out. But you know what? Pop is smart. He letting this all play out. You know, he's just letting it roll. Okay, all right, roll. But you know, he, as Goddess Kelly said, he is Coach Amazing. And I put it like this: his shine is still there. Can't say that for a certain ex-coach of the Chicago Bulls and L.A. Lakers, who, you know, kind of lucked up and got a whole bunch of rings because they had all the time. But we ain't going down. That's for a different discussion. Pop still got his props, you know, and. But your best bet is to chill out. Because the Spurs are going, just because they don't have the roster this year, they may not have the roster the next season. But that following season, oh no, some deals, some picks, the mix gonna be there. Because they know what they doing. Yeah, they done it and they know what they building. So, that's all I'm saying.
Hey, Goddess.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering, over the competition I'm towering. Wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest, that'll all get sliced and diced. Competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out. Oh, Mama said knock you out. Oh, we are not talking about Erica Shields, Janet Napolitano, or Cecilia Hilton. We are talking about the knockout punch Money Mayweather plans to land on the MMF. Money Mayweather has begun training for an MMF bout. Is this all about the hype, or will a real fight happen? Could Mayweather use his boxing prowess to reach the top 10 of the MMF world and command a huge, stupendous, like nothing ever seen before, a whopper of a worldwide pay-per-view event? Do the first letters of MMF stand for Money Mayweather? Michelle Leonhardt, Julia Pearson, and Polly Hansen are asking, what you saying? Now, I love Floyd Money Mayweather. I do. I adore him. I think that he is fantastic. He is one of my favorite boxers. I love his personality. I love his boxing IQ. A lot of people make fun of his normal IQ, but when he's in a boxing ring, he can anticipate what his opponent is going to do like nobody else. And that is amazing boxing IQ. It's almost like boxing ESP, so to speak. I mean, defensively, greatest fighter of absolute all time. And he's also, got a hell of a punch to him too. But that being said, all of his skills are so much boxing skills. They're not fighting skills. Boxing is a mental sport when it comes down to it, in my opinion. Boxing is like 90% mental, 10% physical. When it comes to MMF, however, or MMA or UFC or any of those sort of things, that is so much more physical. Those fights are over, in mere minutes compared to what a boxing match takes. I mean, all it takes is, you get the power and the strike and a couple of kicks to the head and boom, you're done. You can't defend against that the way you can defend against boxing, where there's actual rules and things like that as to, where they can hit you and how they get the points, that sort of thing. It's a completely different sport. We saw the crossover when Conor McGregor went into the boxing ring, and I think that Money Mayweather was kind of playing with him. It looked in the earlier rounds like Conor McGregor was going to make a show of it, like he, was really kind of in it to win it. But it turns out that Floyd was just playing with him. He was trying to let the people at home get their money's worth for that $100 pay-per-view before he went in for the kill. And, the refs finally stopped it, but had they not, I think that money would have definitely knocked out Conor McGregor. But if you spin it around and if you put Floyd into an octagon, into, Conor McGregor's world and go by those rules, there's no way. I mean, he's an old man now. He still has that intelligence. He still has that strength in his arms. But no. I mean, I think this is great for a payday, but these fights don't pay nearly the purse that a boxing fight does. Maybe if they had Money Mayweather, they would raise that purse money up. I don't know. But I don't know. I think he's going to get killed, and I think it's going to tarnish his legacy. So I don't like it. CJ, what are you saying?
Well, I kind of am thinking on the same thing as you, that he can box, but can he really street fight? I mean, because all the chips are out the window when you go into their rings. They don't care where they hit you, and I don't care what a cup can hold. Your little nuts have been a little older than the ones that you're trying to kick. And if they get bruised, they might not come back as quick. You need to think about these things. Viagra can bring you one thing, but being able to get it up and, move it around is another. Man, he's got to look at it and look out for his self-interest. Now, the money might look good, but no young chick is going to only want to hear, I can only talk to you like this. That's another thing I can do to you. They're not going to want that. So I really believe, yes, he's trying to get up enough hype so that it can be something. But I just hope it doesn't hurt him in the worst way possible. I agree.
What do you think?
He has actually begun training, and he says that he's, he could see that in a few months that some of the basics he would need to master to be in the octagon, that he would be at least a top 10 talent. Now, I do have to admit that when you've been a world champion, you might have a bit of ego. You might have it's sort of like, especially when you done backed it up. It's like the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, you say, well, we did kind of whoop everybody's ass, they ain't putting it all in your face and, hey, but, when you kind of get down there, you say, well, we just kind of whipped up on everybody's ass. You can kind of, you might, kind of have a tad bit of ego. So I can get Money Mayweather, saying, hey, look, you know what? I can take them on. I can compete. I can be there. Hey, I hear you, brother. You a world champion. You might be able to do that. And where there's money to be made, Mayweather is there. That's the one. If some money is about to be made, and if somehow, some way, he can have a fight or two, and then fight someone in the top 10, it's on. It's on. The big paid, another big payday. Now, and I put it like this, since I'm not into conspiracy stories, thinking and all of that, if it happened, I still would be kind of wondering. Then I would wonder how good is the talent in the mixed martial arts world and the ultimate fighting, that it is a older boxer with superior boxing skills can come in your sport and compete with the top 10. What's going on with the rest of them? Are they really, so I think it kind of opens up a situation. And that's where Money Mayweather makes his money, in situations.
Well, speaking of money, it is time for us to pay the bills. So, CJ, take us to break.
The first 2 listeners to email us or send a shout-out while the ladies are grouped together will receive a $25 gift card from our partners at NFLshop.com and NBAstore.com. Here's your hint. Real handcuffs. Stay tuned. Coming up next, we have a performance from Solex on the first part of Shout-Out.
Get well, First Lady. Give Mayweather a call.
The music flows in and around the globe to get a shout-out from the panel. First Lady is not here, so I can't wait to hear the music from Solex. Got it, Kelly?
On Shout-Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we will give the track a shout-out. If we don't like it, we're going to take the mute button. So today, we are featuring music from Solex. So DJ, let's hear Feel So Good.
Yeah, this here feels so good. Feels so good. Oh, DJ, please roll that.
All right. That was Feel So Good. So let's find out if this track is getting a shout out or the mute button. I thought that was just an absolute mess. I mean, I didn't feel so good. I felt so bored and I felt so offended that I had to listen to that entire song. Like, it was just a synthesized nightmare. Like, I hated his voice. I hated the background music. The background music sounded to me like something that you would hear at like an elementary school band recital. The chords were boring. It sounded like badly synth keyboard, and I hated everything about that track. It was terrible. Mute. CJ, what did you think?
Well, I won't say a mute, but I won't give it a thumbs up and a shout out either. I think it would have been better for perhaps for movie scripts, for people doing soliloquies that needs an intro, that do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now here's your message. That's what I was waiting for. These are the days of our lives to come in somewhere, or maybe, wait, here's a sale and it's going to be on your sleepless mattress. Something like that. I think they would go far. Commercial advertising. Yes, that's the way. Solex, good job. Top 40. You got to work on that one.
Spit face, how about you? Shouting it out or muting it?
Now I understand why the ugly baby was the giggle for the day. Because Solex, this is an ugly baby. An ugly baby. I wouldn't even give this ugly baby a banana. It is ugly. And there is, it look. I don't know what you was trying to. I don't know if you was trying to go back to a 70s style back in the day, but I put it like this: it was not waking. There was. And I wanted it to wake. I wanted it to wake. I was like, how like you listening to something, you kind of wanted to, get up over the hump or something. And it just kept failing. And CJ, I have to disagree as far as movie, TV side of thing, because I put it like this. Quincy Jones, who won Emmys and Grammys for soundtracks, oh boy, ain't on that track. Solex is not on that track. Not at all. It kind of reminds me of Junior. You know how Junior wanted to be a producer and put stuff together, and it was cute, but that was about it. This ain't even cute. It's an ugly baby. Ugly baby.
All right. Well, on part 2 of Shout Out, we will give Solex a chance to redeem himself, see if that ugly baby can maybe grow up into a swan. But now, I think I'm hearing the sound of our favorite underwater friend. Is it time for Flip It?
All right. It's time for Flip It. That's right, where our hosts defend a point and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. You are the New York Giants football team, and you have really a horrid season. So it's time to trade one of your shining stars, Jason Pierre-Paul. Gotta hand it to you, Einstein. Was this a good move by the Giants to get picked, since this is about rebuilding and squeezing a season or two out of Eli? Defend. Trading your top defensive player, bad move when your division is filled with gunslingers. Only in the NFC East. God is Kelli, defend.
Well, we all know that with the Philadelphia Eagles coming off of that Super Bowl championship run and making moves to go and try and repeat, we are going to be sitting on the top of the NFC East for a very long time. And the Giants are not going to be able to compete without Mr. One-Handed Wonder, JPP, back there trying to put the moves on our receivers. Granted, you know what, he's half the man he used to be since his little accident, but he was still the best player that they had on defense. You can't compete in a division where we're going to have Carson Wentz throwing it downfield. We're going to have Dak hopefully out of his, well, not hopefully in my case, but hopefully for Dallas's case, out of his sophomore slump. Maybe he'll find some chemistry with Des Bryant. I don't know. It could happen. We've got, the Washington football team is trying to rebuild. They've got, some talent that's on the rise, possibly, maybe, I don't know. But the Giants were so bad. Eli is at the end of his career. He is getting towards the end. I mean, the Giants, no doubt about it, they're going to take a quarterback with that number 2 pick. And if they're going to have any chance, they need to be strong on defense. And getting rid of Jason Pierre-Paul, bad move. You need that guy back there to defend your team, get your offense the ball so Eli can just give it on back to us once again. So if the Giants want to be contenders, it was a bad move. You can't get rid of your best defensive player. You just can't do it. Can't do it.
Somebody got to rush the quarterback. CJ, defend.
I don't know, like you said, they were some Einsteins, but you can learn a lot from a dummy. That's for sure. He was supposed to be their golden star. He was helping them out. And then what do? Trade him? I mean, that's like taking a knife fight and everybody else got AK-47s, and you say you're going to win the fight. Has that same precedence with the government, but, we need to do a little bit better in our thinking. And perhaps New York Giants are thinking, well, but I think that was really a bad move. He was the only one giving him a little play and giving him hope, trying to get the team together. And you get rid of him? I don't know. You can learn a lot from a dummy.
We'll find out. Now, I'm looking at the situation, and Jason Pierre-Paul is in, hand or not, he top 5 at his position. And the Giants ain't got too many top 5 anybody's at any position on their team. So, Eli is, let's face it, he is heading, he's not on the upside of his career. And if you are going to bring in a new quarterback or make some kind of transition, it's going to be a minute before that offensive gel, especially when you got Odell tripping, like he done won a Super Bowl or something. So, you're going to get rid of one of the most stable persons on your team and players on your team. Now, and then the other players are like, man, is this what it's about? You got rid of JP? What's up? But this is flipping, where we flip the script and defend the opposing view. When you aren't going nowhere. With the Eagles running roughshod over your division, it's just time to rebuild. rebuild. They got some draft picks. It's a good move. Good move. CJ, the fan.
Yes, it was a good move for them. It was a better move for Mr. Paul. He didn't want to get beat up all season by himself. He wanted to make sure that he would have a few more years instead of just being pounced upon. And for little pay, too? Oh, please. Yes, he said, please rebuild. Move me where I can maybe get a ring this time. And you guys can have it. We'll see you in the next time. Better luck next time. Yes, he was happy. He was thrilled. He was jumping up and down. You all didn't get it.
I hear it. And it's warm in Tampa Bay.
Thank you very much.
God is Kelly, the fed.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is if JPP goes on to get a ring, I'm not entirely sure where he's going to put it. And I guess he'll just have to go on his other hands. But anyway, it was a good move. JPP was a huge hit to their salary cap, and the Giants do need to go through a rebuilding period. Like I said, Eli Manning is getting towards the end of his career. There's no doubt that with their first pick in the first round, they're number 2 overall, I believe, for the Giants. They're going to end up going with a quarterback, somebody that Eli can groom that's going to be ready to take over when he falls apart. If you look at what else is happening to the team, if you look at, all of these things going on with Odell Beckham, I mean, it's likely that something's going to happen with him, doing drugs and hookers in hotel rooms and getting caught on video. Come on, man, you're smarter than that. So that team is just in utter chaos right now. So if you can get a return for your investment by getting those 2 better draft picks for JPP, then you got to do that because you need to rebuild, and that's how you rebuild in the NFL. You rebuild through the draft, and they have got a lot of rebuilding that they are going to need to do if the Giants are ever going to be relevant in the next 5 or 6 years. So, good move. Draft picks are very valuable in the NFL, so I think that, they definitely came out on top with this one. Get those draft picks, rebuild the team, make plans for life without Eli, and possibly life without OBJ.
All right. Now, I'm looking at it, and this is a rare time that is actually a win-win. Jason PP, like Goddess Kelly said, got a chance to go to a team that is competitive, and they are a defensive-minded team anyway. So that's a great fit. And the Giants need the draft picks because the Giants have made it clear to New York, look, we got to rebuild. We got to rebuild. So don't start tripping because you know that we got to rebuild. And so that way the fans ain't totally upset. They're preparing the fans already so that they can go, look, my Giants are rebuilding right now, and they got to make, picks and trades because they got to compete with the real beast of the East. Swooping down. So they got some work to do. And so they just say, hey, look, man, we ain't even going to pretend like, well, next year we're going to have a team that's going to be able to, go out and our chances is they going hell to the no. We got a clean house. We got to get some new peeps. We got to, put some, we got to get, Eli need a few more adrenaline shots so he can get his butt out there and hang until we can get us a new quarterback, and he will. Now, I will say one thing. Eli will retire a New York Giant. He will, they will do that. They want him to retire they do not want him to go to another team. They want him to say, look, I played my whole career as a New York Giant. The fans want that, and management want that. So 2 years, they can season that number 1 draft pick they going to get. That's all I'm saying. CJ, take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, the funnies and our favorite underwater friend on Flip It Part 2.
Welcome back. You are still listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's time for the funnies. So, CJ, over to you.
I think we have something interesting for the panel and our listeners. Airline crew member and 9 pounds of coke in his pants. Yes, you heard it here. Customs officials at a New York airport said an airline crew member on a flight from Jamaica was found to be hiding 9 pounds of cocaine inside his pants. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection said Jamaican citizen Hugh Hall was a crew member on a Fly Jamaican Airways flight that arrived March 17th at John F. Kennedy International Airport. Can you believe it? From Montego Bay. Hugh presented himself for inspection upon arriving in New York and was taken into a private search room where officers found 4 packages of cocaine taped to his leg under his pants. The cocaine weighed about 9 pounds and an estimated street value of $160,000. This seizure is another example of our CPB officers being ever vigilant in protecting the United States from the distribution of illicit drugs, said Leon Hayward, acting director of BP's New York field operations. Halls was arrested on suspicion of importation of a controlled substance and turned over to Homeland Security investigations. They're supposed to be happy because they found it taped to his leg? Come on, TSA is supposed to be able to do that.
I'm looking at you. You ain't too bright.
Is that cocaine in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
So how are you walking your legs? Your legs are going to be apart. I mean, that was not, you can learn a lot from a dummy. That's all I got to say, guys. What is flashing on you? It must be time for our favorite underwater friend. It's time for Flip It. Well, you see, getting back to the NFL, why it's the Playa used to be known as Johnny Football, the only reason the producers are even mentioning this story is because of the thought of him returning is intriguing, given the level of respect he showed for his profession. What is more intriguing? Is Colin Kaepernick going to be given a shot? Who has a better chance of returning to the NFL? Panel defend. America loves a comeback story. Poor Johnny will get a shot before Cap. We know this. Everybody. Michael Monkey will get a shot before Cap. He might as well just give it up. Unless this country is going to do a 360-1, which is impossible. They're not changing their thought pattern anytime soon. I hope it'll get done before I turn 90. But for right now, he needs to just stick to social justice and social change, because getting paid again through the football, nope. The only close thing he's going to get to a pigskin is with the little youth. That's about all that he's going to get. Yes, Johnny has a much better shot than he does. What do you think, Spitface?
America loves a comeback story. Poor Johnny B. Bad is not going to be Johnny B. Good. And, unfortunately, looking at the situation, and you look at, Cap, who I think was not the most brilliant in being able to thread the needle between being a stand and protesting and keeping your job. There is a thread that, that you can thread the needle, but you got to know how to know the game that you're playing. Now, Johnny, and as they said, that the only reason the producers are mentioning Johnny Manziel is because of Colin Kaepernick. Now, here's a dude who disrespected his opportunity to be an NFL professional. Here's a guy who respected his NFL profession and had his stand stolen, distorted, misrepresented. Are there any other things I can say about that?
Nope.
and now has him on the outside trying to get back in. But America loves a poor Johnny. Poor Johnny. But now Johnny is Johnny Be Good.
Goddess, what do you think?
Well, if we look at the story of poor Johnny Manziel, we see a child that was grown up so privileged, and he was given a free college education, and he was a white straight male, and he was given every opportunity in the world, and it was just too much for him. I mean, people talk about white privilege, but think about what it does to these rich white men. It just makes them turn to a life of drugs and alcohol because they're taught that they can get away with anything they want in life. And as it turns out, he couldn't get away with anything that he wanted in life because he just kept getting in trouble because of the drugs and the alcohol. And America just wants to see him come back. They want to see him rise like a phoenix from the ashes to beat this life of privilege and decadence that he's had. So, of course, Johnny Manziel is going to get a chance before Colin Kaepernick. If we look at Colin Kaepernick, he's doing what he's not allowed to do. He's speaking out about things that make us feel uncomfortable. We're comfortable with redemption. We are not comfortable with the black man speaking out on social injustice. So that's why Johnny Manziel is going to get a shot first.
And that's a wrap for sure, because now we're going to have to flip it. And panel, we're going to have to defend. Cap has the stats. Johnny wishes he had a team desperate enough to take Johnny, would welcome Cap with open arms and a hug. Spitface, what you saying?
All right, one of the things that, somebody might feel, soft-hearted for Johnny Manziel. And, and want a redemption story, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Because the thing about a redemption story is you had to have, kind of got to the height and then had to fall back down and then come back. See, Johnny Manziel did not get to the height in the NFL. His stats were not all that impressive as a player. So here it is. It's been 2-3 years removed, and there's better talent coming in that we ain't gotta have no questions. We ain't gotta have no redemption story. Now, Cap is gonna get in because of one thing that's going to get Cap in. And that one thing is the Godfather. That's right. And when I say Godfather, who I'm really talking about. Just make Godfather synonymous with commissioner. Because the commissioner is about the only person who can scare the owners into saying, look, y'all really don't want that lawsuit to keep going forward. You really, really don't. And let me talk with Cap, and one of y'all decide to bring him in as a backup. Because that lawsuit, we don't want that. We don't want that, because that lawsuit, and he got somebody who's joining in on the lawsuit. No, we don't need that. We already getting over the concussion thing, which I've maneuvered to get that quieted down. We don't want that. So the commissioner is going to finagle a way for Cap to get back in the league, and they do a little settlement. And Cap is going to finally do something smart, which is stand for social justice, but make some good faith moves, like, donate $50,000 to the Police Benevolent Society. Sometimes you do them little things, and talk to old school and split face. We'll get you tightened up, Cap. But he'll be back in before Johnny. Or neither one of them will be in. But Johnny ain't coming back. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think that Cap is going to be welcomed with open arms and a hug because they want to squelch it. They're going to try and silence him. So they're going to wave a lot of money in front of him, but he's going to take it, and he has the stats to prove it.
He going to take it.
And it's going to be over. And everybody is going to be, this is a great America. They're going to forget about it, just like they're trying to throw it under the rug. But it's going to be okay because it's only media, it's only sports. Cap is just going to say, I'm back. And if he takes the Super Bowl, too, with this little team, then he's going to open up his mouth again. So I'm just waiting for it to happen. I'm just waiting, just patiently sitting here on the sidelines with my little ears. Goddess, what do you think?
And if you look at some of these contracts that the quarterbacks have been getting lately, I mean, $20 million to Sam Bradford? Really? The guy hasn't played an entire season for, like, his entire career. He just gets hurt. Brock Osweiler getting another job. Jay Cutler still has a job. Cap's going to come back. There's going to be a team that is going to become so desperate for a quarterback, they are going to extend that olive branch to Colin Kaepernick because they know that he is a talented quarterback. And you know what? I think all of the things going on in government and politics right now, all of these messes, these sad, tragic stories with the guns, all of the things going on with our president in North Korea, all these sort of things I think are kind of making the story of Colin Kaepernick and kneeling for the anthem kind of go quietly into the night. And once, the owners of the football teams aren't afraid of making a bad business decision that all of their fans are going to start boycotting and they're going to start losing money, then they're going to be willing to give Kaepernick another shot in the NFL. That's the reason he hasn't now, is because these owners are terrified that by signing them, they're going to lose half their fan base. But if you look at it, you know what? The one thing that America loves more than football, beer, and guns, it's their dogs. And if we gave Michael Vick a second shot in the NFL, there is no reason why Colin Kaepernick, who is not a criminal, he's just somebody that knelt for social injustice, shouldn't get a shot. So, you know what? If a dog killer can get a chance, so can Colin Kaepernick. He's going to come back before Manziel. Manziel's not even in shape. You look at him, he's not chubby. He's not fat now. Definitely not coming back.
Goddess Kelly, I think he's gotten fat because he keeps trying to eat on that jambalaya. He's got something good over there for him.
I have got a delicious jambalaya for our panel today, so here it comes at you. I bought some shoes from a drug dealer. I don't know what he laced them with, but I've been tripping all day. So, panel, how does this quote relate to the NRA and the gun manufacturers that they represent? I mean, when it comes to it, the NRA really is, they're a drug dealer. The guns are kind of like drugs to certain Americans. They get addicted to them, and they love having them, and they're afraid to give them up. And you say one word about gun regulations, and all of a sudden they're clutching them, typing them, they're all like shaking, and they're sweating. They're all like, no, you can't take my guns, don't take my guns. No, you can't take my guns. So yeah, the NRA, they're like drug dealers, and the gun manufacturers, they're like drug dealers too. But when it comes down to it, there has become such an issue in this country with school shootings, that sort of thing, that something does need to be done. Do I think that it's a gun ban? No, I absolutely don't. I am a supporter of the Second Amendment. I am a gun owner myself. got a gun less than 2 feet away from me right now. I had my house broken into a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't have my gun on me. I was upstairs in my bedroom at the time. But, I mean, had I heard the guy before I was downstairs, I would have definitely brought my gun, and I wouldn't have been afraid to use it. So there is times when a gun is absolutely necessary. Where the problem comes in is that we're giving them out to just anybody. And same thing with drugs. Some people can handle it. They can go out for a weekend, and they can have fun. They can go on a thunder, and then Monday morning they are ready for work, and they are clean until next party time. But then there's some people, they get, that weekend bender, and then it turns into an every day of the week bender, and they can't say no, they can't control themselves. It's the same thing. That's why we need to have better mental health checks for guns. We need to make sure that they're not getting into the wrong hands. We need to have a relaxation of the Hippocratic oath when it comes to that. We need to start doing backgrounds on people's psychological doctors, that sort of thing. And I'm getting on a soapbox here, and I really don't mean to be, but it's just kind of happening. But, I mean, we do. We need to make sure that the mentally ill are not getting guns. We need to ban guns that are made strictly just for killing, like the AR-15. Nobody needs an AR-15 to defend their house. I've got a handgun, and I feel perfectly confident that that is enough gun to defend my home. All that an AR-15 does is for mass killing. But then when it comes down to it, if we look at what happened in Houston with the bombing, there's other ways that people can kill people. So we need to look at the cause of mass killing and not just the type of mass killing. The fact that it's AR-15s that are used, yes, if we get rid of them, then people are just going to start building bombs. So we need to take a two-party approach to this. And I completely went off my jambalaya topic, but hey, you know what? I'm tripping. So, CJ, what do you think?
I'm going to trip right along with you because, see, the NRA has been the wolves in charge of the chicken coop from the beginning of time. So, he's been able to eat all the chickens he wants, and no one has said a word up until now. But these sort of things have been happening in our lifetimes, you guys, and they just haven't been publicized. One good thing about the Internet is that it's making us aware of things that are happening in other regions faster than what the regular media, quote, unquote, wants us to know. The thing about the NRA and gun manufacturers, they have been making guns since 1620 something, 1894. These people have been here forever in America. And guns, like you said, I love guns. I love knives. I like things that go boom. They're very exciting. But I don't think they should be used for evil or to kill another human being. That's my thing. Animals, yes. To eat, yes. To defend yourself, yes. But I believe that's a life for a life. Kill me, I understand. But if you take one, give one. Then you stop all of this stuff. And bullets should cost more. That's how gun manufacturers should make their money. Then everybody can have a gun. But you can't afford the bullets. You'll be more careful in who you shoot and why you're shooting them. That would get rid of all the crime really quickly if a bullet cost the same as a carrot. And that's diamond.
All right, Space, what do you think? Take a nice little trip.
I just wanted to say, CJ, have you been to the grocery store? That regular carrot kind of costs a lot.
They no longer
when you leave that grocery store with that little bag, you go, wait, $100? And you got 5 items and one of them a carrot. Let me tell you. All right, but it's interesting, and it is like a drug dealer, and what it is it's like a drug dealer who got his own perpetual advertising company that puts out propaganda that says that any, did I say any, move to legitimately make sure that the product and the users, that there's some regulation to make sure that it's a good process that protects and benefits everybody, to the best that can be done currently. Because one of the arguments is that you can pass all this legislation and people going to still do this. So does that mean that we should erase murder as something that people can be charged with? Because they're going to do it anyway. So we should take that law off the books because people ain't obeying, the law against murder. So we shouldn't have that as a law. It don't stop people. That is not the point. The point is that if you do it, you will be punished. And because most people, it's not a matter of I need to stop you from considering doing murder. No, you already not going to do that. Murderers don't go, man, I could go to jail for murder. No, they into murdering. You want to know that they will be punished for the murdering.
That's what hasn't occurred much.
You want them to know that, and one of the things that they real slick with is making any type of regulation a Second Amendment issue. That is their favorite. Well, we need to. Well, that's a Second Amendment issue. That is not a Second Amendment issue. It is not. Saying that, hey, look, I'm still wondering why in New Jersey they needed to pass a law to allow citizens to own sniper rifles that shoot armor-piercing shells. You need that to protect your home. You need to have, and if you don't have it, your Second Amendment rights. The Second Amendment does not say that you are allowed to own a cannon. To protect your, it's an arm. I need this cannon, to defend my home. I put it like this. I watched The Walking Dead. It ain't gonna go down like that. It's plenty of dead walking around you already. Have you talked to some of your relatives? Yeah, so we got plenty of walking dead, and you might be one of them. But and I'm gonna digress as everybody else has. Why is it that when a young white man bombs people in a city, he ain't a terrorist? No, he's just a disturbed youth. Something wrong with that. Back to you guys.
Well, that jambalaya had flavors, all sorts of flavors going on. So let's take a minute and digest that, refill our drinks. CJ, take us to break.
Okay, on the other side of break, we have another performance from Solex on Shout Out. Please stay tuned.
Are we sure we want to listen to that next one?
You are listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's time for Shout Out, Part 2, the picks and the finale. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout out from the goddess. Kelli, over to you.
All right, we have got another performance from Solex. Let's see if he can redeem himself from that less than stellar review of the last song. So DJ, let's hear Sometimes I Cry. All right, that was Sometimes I Cry. Is that track going to get a shout-out or the mute button? Now, I came into this with extremely low expectations. I hated everything about the first song. I heard the title of this one, Sometimes I Cry, and I was all like, oh, great, this is going to be some emo, falsetto, bullshit, terrible stuff. But, I mean, I really kind of liked the instrumental. I could have done without the baby crying track in the background. I didn't like the baby crying, but the instrumental was kind of trancey. It was kind of good. I liked the layers right up until the crying part of it. So, I mean, Sometimes I Cry, maybe that is a good title because I liked the track and then I heard the crying baby and then I was like, oh, this is not as good as I thought it was. So I'm going to give it a yo, just because it was so much better and I liked kind of the trancy vibe it had going on until the crying ruined it. So CJ, what did you think?
I still put him where I had him. I give him a yo for commercial advertising. It's a great background piece for noise. It's really nice noise. And that was a nice piece for noise until the baby started crying. But then again, if that was a Pampers commercial, that would have been right on time. You know, here's the little pamper, here's the baby sleeping, here's the baby wet. Wah! Sometimes I cry.
His face, what did you think of that one?
I'm crying. I'm crying. And I'm hitting the mute button. There were elements that kind of were like, oh, that's kind of cute, but way too much synthesizer. The only I was tempted to give it a yo because he didn't try to sing.
Oh my. Well, you guys, the hardwood picks are starting with the final four. So
I think Goddess Kelli had a part there.
I was just going to say that is the end of Shout Out. And if you liked what you heard from Solex, you can check him out at Old Grumpy Radio. And if you would like to be heard, or if you have any comments, you can send your emails and tracks to Panties at oldgrumpyradio.com. And CJ, I know you're the champion from last year and you were excited, so you don't have to wait any longer. Go ahead. Let's do the pick.
I am so excited. I really am, because if you do know, Chicago Loyola, right down the street from me, has gotten to the final. It's excellent. It's fantastic. It's just one of the picks, and it's Loyola versus Kansas. I'm, of course, going with Loyola. What about you, Goddess?
I mean, I love a Cinderella story and a number 11 seed. What? That's awesome, but, you know, I'm sorry. I got to go with Kansas.
Spitface?
And just so we can clarify, the First Lady sitting in her picks is Loyola versus Kansas State. And if either one of them win, a Cinderella goes to the Final Four. If either one of them win. Kansas hasn't been there since 1962? Kansas State. The First Lady is going with Loyola. And, you know, being a homer from Chicago, you know I got to roll with Loyola.
Well, the next one is Florida State versus Michigan. Spitface?
All right, the First Lady is rolling with Michigan, and I am so tempted to go with Florida State for the upset because that's how things been rolling. But I'm going to go with Michigan.
Goddess?
Even though their rivalry is in football, after all the time that I lived in Cleveland, there's nothing about me that can root for that school up north, so I got to go with Florida State.
Well, I'm sorry, but I got to go with Michigan because of my dear cousin alma mater. But we have an option. Now, we can go for this if you want to, they say. But there's a free pick of the Final Four team not mentioned. I'm taking that V team, and I always mispronounce their name, Villanova. With a B. What you think, Goddess?
Well, I've got Villanova taking it all in my bracket, so I've got to also go with Villanova.
All right. And you, Spitface, and you talking for the First Lady.
The First Lady is going with Villanova. And I am passing on the option.
Well, we heard it here first. Now, it's time for our panel to give their outrageous predictions. And, of course, we know what mine is. Loyola's going to take it all.
Hey, Cinderella might get some slippers this year, so hey, okay.
We're talking about dancing in front of my house in the parade. I won't have to move a muscle. I am so happy. Yes. What about you, Big Face?
My outrageous prediction is that the Dallas Cowboys will pick a quarterback in the first round.
Goddess Kelly?
My outrageous prediction is the Cleveland Browns are going to trade the number 1 overall pick, and they are not going to draft a quarterback in the first round.
Wow.
That would be outrageous.
That would be really. Sure would. Well, Goddess Kelly, how can the listeners check out your other broadcasts?
Well, you can find me live, unscripted and uncensored every Friday night from 7 to 9, and also Monday nights from 7:30 to 8:30 on blogtalkradio.com/Momentum Shift. I host The Red Zone with Kelly and Rashawn on Friday nights, where we do sports with a dash of politics, a little bit of pop culture. And then on Monday nights, we do a roundtable debate based on the biggest headline from over the weekend. And you can always check me out on demand anytime at my sponsor website, goingfor2.com. And you can find me on social media at KELLIERUTTAR.
Yeah, and you can find Chloe J. CJ on Facebook at Sabor, on Instagram and Twitter. And look for our First Lady on our new website, braspantysports.com, where you can find links for each of us, original episodes, and the Bearskin Lounge with Dizzy Mac. This is CJ and Goddess Kelly, Spitface. You've been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports.